ID, call forwarding, call waiting, and call blocking.
I think it's time you cut the blue wire.
Cut the blue wire. Save up to $250 on your phone features with RevVoice. Get RevVoice. Save money.
Marathon MP Jerome Fitzgerald under fire for those Save the Bays emails he read in the House. A former prison officer and his wife appear in the magistrate's court on drug charges. CLECO policyholders to receive payments as early as tomorrow. Plus, organizers of the postponed Caribbean Music Festival want more money. We've got those stories and a lot more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and MB12 starts right now. Topping news tonight, Marathon MP Jerome Fitzgerald today refused to clarify exactly how he obtained those emails among Save the Bays members he read in Parliament. Meanwhile, the Data Protection Commissioner today spoke out against putting people's private correspondence in the public domain, saying it opens society to chaos. Kyle Joaquin has the story.
As long as existing laws are on the book, there are provisions to deal with public concern. This Data Protection Commissioner will deal with those concerns. I will not be intimidated in the job that I have to do.
Data Protection Commissioner Sharmi Farrington-Austin says her job isn't to single out or control any members of Parliament. But when the private correspondence of citizens makes its way into the public domain without their authorization, then she must step in. And that's what she said has happened when a thread of emails among members of Save the Bays found its way into the public domain and read in Parliament by Marathon MP Jerome Fitzgerald. She called the practice of obtaining private citizens' correspondence and tabling them in the House of Assembly a most dangerous trend that opens the society to chaos, and citizens have a right to expect that their private communications would enjoy the protection afforded them under the laws of the country. But since her statement was released over the holiday weekend, Fitzgerald and Foxhill MP Fred Mitchell said they found the Data Protection Commissioner's views curious, seeing that a formal complaint hasn't been launched. However, she said her office has received complaints and that the Data Protection Act, Section 15 to be exact, sets out broad investigative powers of the Data Protection Commissioner. And according to that section, wherever the Data Protection Commissioner is of the opinion that a breach has occurred or is likely to occur, they're able to launch an investigation and doesn't have to wait for a formal complaint to be filed.
Where statements are in the public domain, the Data Commissioner has jurisdiction over those statements. There are several statements issued by the minister within the public domain.
And she said it's because those emails found their way into the public domain that she had to step in and discourage such actions.
However, when you come into the public forum, then you are subject to the very same laws that you would have made in that forum. Unless the public is to believe that when laws are made in the parliament by lawmakers, they're making those laws for ordinary citizens and not necessarily themselves. If that is the premise on which laws are made, then, maybe lawmakers ought to make that clear.
We also spoke with Marathon MP Jerome Fitzgerald, who said in obtaining those emails, he did nothing wrong. He said he didn't have to hack into anything, but that they somehow found their way into his political garbage can.
At the end of the day, it's before the Committee for Privilege, and I will tell them I got it in my political garbage can, which is where I got it from.
Did someone email them to you?
No one emailed them. No one emailed them to me. I found them in my political garbage can, where I find information almost every day.
And when pressed by reporters as to exactly what he means by his political garbage can,
it means that's where people just send you information. They either deliver it to you by package, they have somebody deliver it to you, you come to your office, you find it, you don't know where it came from. That's your political garbage can.
Fitzgerald said he stands by his claim that Save the Bays is being used to destabilize the government, and that we still haven't seen the worst of the Louis Bacon-Nygaard ordeal, which involves claims of corruption, alleged murder plots, and 2 hitmen allegedly paid millions who can't be found. Some, like F&M Deputy Leader Peter Turnquest, have questioned whether the National Intelligence Agency, which still has no legislation to govern it, may have played a role.
It's foolishness. The NIA, man, it's foolishness. But listen here, man. At the end of the day, I'm surprised at y'all, because y'all reporters. I'm really surprised at y'all because y'all get information every day. Y'all don't hack in nobody's email. Y'all don't hack nobody's information. Y'all get information every day. We all know this is a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Nothing here is secret, nothing. And to think I need to go and hack or the government needs to hack somebody's email, no.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
An officer sentenced to prison after being caught with drugs in his home. He and his wife appeared in the magistrate's court this morning. Our Giorgio Bain was there and filed this report.
A prison officer and his wife were brought before the magistrate's court today to answer to charges of possession of illegal drugs. The prison officer pled guilty to possession of 4.5 ounces of marijuana.
Jason and Yannick Russell were brought before Magistrate Samuel McKinney in Court Number 1 this morning under heavy guard of drug enforcement officers. The husband and wife duo were charged with possession of dangerous drugs with the intent to supply. It is alleged that on March 25, 2016, drug enforcement officers set up surveillance on Jason Russell on the tip that he was in the possession of illegal drugs. On the day in question, Russell was at the Esso gas station on Prince Charles Drive when he was approached by DEU officers. During the initial questioning, it was revealed that Russell was a prison officer and was asked his place of residence, to which he replied that he was a resident of Nassau Village. Officers then proceeded to a residence in Colony Village, where a female answered the door and identified herself as Yannick Russell, the wife of Jason Russell. A warrant to search the home was then shown to the couple, and DEU officers searched the premises. While searching the cabinet above the kitchen stove, a quantity of 4.5 ounces of Indian hemp marijuana was allegedly found, as well as a Samsung cell phone. The drugs have an estimated street value of about $300. Officers also confiscated $441, believed to be the proceeds of the drugs from Jason Russell. In court, Yannick Russell could be seen wiping the tears from her eyes as the couple were asked their pleas. Jason pleaded guilty and his wife pled not guilty to all charges. As the events were being recanted, officers say that during questioning, when asked why he had the drugs in the house, Jason told police that he intended to sell the drugs on the road. The defense said that the $441 found on Jason on the day of arrest was for a birthday party for one of his daughters that he and his wife had already planned. Jason and Yannick, both 30 years of age, have 2 children together. Magistrate McKinney stated that due to Jason having been in a position of trust in society as a former prison officer, he must hand down a sentence suitable to make an example. However, McKinney said, keeping in mind that Jason had no previous convictions, no matters before the court, and is still very young, and also has 2 children to provide for, that he would be lenient in his judgment. McKinney handed down a sentence of 1 year in prison to Jason and the confiscation of the $441. Yannick, who pled not guilty, was acquitted of all charges and discharged. While leaving the court, Yannick cried openly and could be heard saying, "My poor husband." Sentencing took effect immediately. Reporting for NB12, I'm Giorgio Bain.
An off-duty police officer was shot by a masked man in an attempted armed robbery, and police in Abaco are now on the hunt for the gunman. According to police, the officer was at a parking lot on Don McKee Boulevard in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, when he was accosted by a man armed with a handgun and wearing a mask. Police say during the incident, the weapon was discharged, resulting in the officer receiving injuries before the culprit escaped into nearby bushes. The officer was treated at the Marsh Harbor Clinic with non-life-threatening injuries and discharged. Police are investigating the matter and appeal to anyone who may have any information that can assist them in their investigation with this matter or any other crime to contact them. In other news, New Providence CLECO policyholders will begin receiving interim payments of outstanding claims tomorrow, according to a notice signed by CLECO liquidator Craig Tony Gomez. The notice states that payments of outstanding claims will continue Friday in New Providence and will begin on Monday, April 4th in Grand Bahama. Gomez said the interim payment does not apply to people with active in-force insurance and pension policies. State Minister of Finance Michael Halkitis spoke on those policyholders this morning outside of Cabinet.
Payments begin in New Providence on Thursday, this coming Thursday, which is day after tomorrow. Payments, they will be made at the Holy Cross Activity Center. There will be 6 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They expect to deal with roughly 4,000, just over 4,000, approximately 4,400 policyholders.
Halkitis said policyholders should pay attention to the media for further notices regarding payments. But as for how much of their money the policyholders will be receiving,
the vast majority of it, it's a multi-tiered process. As we said, what will happen is those with the smaller amounts, those will be dealt with first, and we believe that this initial process will deal with the vast amount of those. There are some outliers who have significant amounts of money, particularly some of the former employees, and those will be dealt with. But in this initial stage, we expect to deal with the vast amount of the claimants.
When NB12 returns, Caribbean Music Festival organizers want more money from the government. Stay with us.